You know what time it is. It's Thursday morning, and you know what that means. It's the AEW Ring Report here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Coming up here on the AEW Ring Report, we give you the fallout of All Out right here. All Out, the fallout. What happened at All Out? The latest. It's the Dark Order finna break up. Yes, you can see right here. Tensions are flaring between Dark Order members, Big John, Little John Silver, and Evil Uno as we're seeing the disruption of the Dark Order, say it ain't so. We hope not. Of their their leader, Bro Lee, the late Bro Lee. Also, too, because we see this confrontation between Daniel Bryan and Kenny Omega down the road for the AEW World Title. It's a possibility. It's the dream match everybody wanted to see. Never thought would happen, but it's gonna happen. Also, too, Kenny Omega joins recruits Adam Cole into the Elite. The Elite getting stronger than never before. And what's going on with this? CM Punk returning, got his debut match at All Out, and he's feuding with none other than Team Taz. What's going on with that? We'll talk about that in the latest. Also in Hot Topics, we'll talk about what's going on with the game. Triple H, WWE executive, former WWE champion. He has been in the news with a health condition that he underwent surgery for a cardiac situation. We'll get to the latest on that. And Triple H knows this man too well. Mick Foley been raising the ire of a lot of people lately with his comments about WWE, and WWE need to step up that game because AEW is here to stay and here to make a play at WWE. WWE answers the challenge. We'll get to with Mick Foley's latest comments. All this and more on the Pro Wrestling Show starts right now. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this special edition of the Pro Wrestling Show. Presents the AEW Ring Report. I'm your host, as always, Kendra Dix here. Glad you can join us here on the AEW Ring Report. Join us in the conversation using the hashtag Pro Wrestling here on Connect. And don't forget to subscribe. Subscribing is caring. Tell a friend, call a friend, hit that subscribe button so you won't miss a thing here on the Pro Wrestling Show. Presents the AEW Ring Report. We got a lot to get to. Let's get started. Now, we know that AEW All Out broke records, broke many records, had the debuts of Daniel Bryan. I hate saying it, but I like saying it. Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole made their appearance at AEW. What a moment that was. We never thought Adam Cole was going to jump ship like that, and he did. He made WWE play and wait, but I can't blame him because WWE like to play around, play games, and then make promises. And then once they got you. They don't do nothing with you. Adam Cole had to make a decision that's beneficial to him and his family. Same way as Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan did the same thing. He was in the WrestleMania main event this past year, headline with Roman Reigns and Edge. Daniel Bryan making that leap to AEW as well. Well, we'll get to their stories later, but we'll kick things off with this. We know that beginning of the first match was Malachi Black. If we can get the picture up, where is Malachi Black? Okay, yeah. Malachi Black went one-on-one against Dustin Rhodes in the opening match of Dynamite. Malachi Black put Dustin Rhodes to a table. Malachi Black has been targeting every member of the Nightmare family. It started with Cody. He took Cody off the shelf and went down and drizzling down to R. Anderson's son, to R. Anderson himself. Now Lee, we got Lee something. I forgot his name. And now Dustin. So we heard news now that Cody stated to return back to A&E television, and he'll come back at that big Dynamite show on the Grand Slam, the New York crowd. So Cody should be back sooner rather than you know. Also, too, the Elite is back. Well, Kenny Omega still holds on to his world title as the Young Bucks lost their tag team titles to the Lucha Brothers. I mean, the Lucha Brothers are the tag team of the year. the Lucha Brothers but high spots. Jim Cornette said he don't even like the Lucha Brothers as well, which I don't get, but it is what it is. But the Elite is gaining ground and getting stronger with the addition of Adam Cole leaving WWE NXT to now be a full-fledged member of the Elite. Adam Cole made it clear. He said, "Hey, I'm here. I'm here to prove myself." And Adam Cole will have his first match next week against I got Frankie Kazarian next week on Dynamite. So Adam Cole versus Adam Cole's debut. He goes against Frankie Kazarian one-on-one as a member of the Elite. Not too fast as Daniel Bryan came out there and made it clear that he wants competition. And he wants competition the worst way. And he might be getting it against Kenny Omega. Kenny Omega, looking at Daniel Bryan. But speaking of Kenny Omega racing the cover of Pro Wrestling Illustrated. He's the #1 wrestler in the world. And he beat the likes of Roman Reigns, Drew McIntyre, Bobby Lashley, the current fellow world champions, the WWE champions of their respective brands, as well as other world champions. With Kenny Omega on top of the list now as the AEW World Heavyweight Champion on the Pro Wrestling Illustrated. Kenny Omega, will he take the challenge on against a former WWE champion of Daniel Bryan? Only time will tell. But Kenny Omega left his goon, Brian Cutler, to get pummeled and beat up by all member Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, Christian, Marco Stunt, and Daniel Bryan. They all came out there and made play and attack Brandon Cutler and left Brandon Cutler lay. Well, speaking of that, MJF, you can see right here, he got a nasty look on his face. He looks mad. He looks irritated. MJF came out there and he was so angry and filled up, he just wanted to take his attention away. As MJF lost that match against Chris Jericho at All Out. Chris Jericho was not be seen. He probably seen Friday Night on Rampage. Well, as you see right here, MJF right there, him and Wardlow confronting Brian Pillman Jr. The MJF was saying some rude comments about Brian Pillman Jr.'s family, even his mother, saying she's drug infested. And Brian Pillman Jr. standing up to himself and his family. And the MJF calling Brian Pillman Jr. all kinds of names. All of a sudden, Brian Pillman Jr. went and attacked MJF for calling his family names and calling his family out. Probably didn't say nothing about his father, which that was too disrespectful. Well, the big powerhouse Warlow came out there and clotheslined Brian Pillman Jr.'s tag team partner. I forgot his name, Griff Garrison, yeah. And then MJF about to lay out Griff Garrison with the diamond ring, nailed him with the diamond ring. Then you can see right here, MJF looking solid, looking bitter, looking angry that about him tapping out on the fans, letting him know he tapped out. So MJF and Warlow still having some tension as well. We don't know down the road. They're kind of waiting for that to happen. MJF and Warlow battling, turning against each other. But right now, MJF focusing his attention on Brian Pillman Jr. And we'll see. And then we've heard too, Brian Pillman Jr. said that he will get a match against MJF at the big Grand Slam event coming up in a couple of weeks. So MJF versus Brian Pillman Jr. should be an instant match, instant clash between these young rising stars. Also, too, we know that Dan Lambert came out there. Dan Lambert trying to act like AEW's version of Jim Cornette about addressing the crowds, and the crowd don't know anything. They just there to be there. So I think Dan Lambert trying to point the obvious that AEW trying to spin it on Jim Cornette and trying to say, hey, this is what Jim Cornette does on a regular basis, bragging on about us. So you know how that go. Situations like that. So Dan Lambert saying he's going to be managing Ethan Page and Scorpion Sky, find them some competition. Indeed. Also, too, the new woman on the rise, Ruby Solo, better known as Ruby Riott, she made her AEW debut this past weekend at All Out, earning herself a women's championship match in the Casino Battle Royal. Ruby Solo made her debut after when she took on Jamie Hayter. Jamie Hayter, Dr. Big Breaker's muscle, her enforcer. She took her on in Ruby Solo's version of Open Challenge. She did the Open Challenge, indeed, laid out Jamie Hayter. So Big Breaker now focusing on Ruby Soho and could get a future women's championship match down the road. And then she even told Tony Schiavone, "Hey, I'm still gonna whoop your girl's butt." So it's gonna be a hell of a fight. And then as you see right here, Ruby Solo checking on Riho, who was trying to make the save for her, as well as Dr. Chris Stanley, the alien Chris Stanley as well. So a lot going on with that. What else also happened? Also, too, the Dark Order. Is it stating so? We saw the Dark Order having tension with each other after they had that match against the Pinnacle. Dark Order now is they're teasing a breakup. You see, even Uno John Silver having dissension. And dissension is growing. We don't know if the Dark Order can get it together or keep their heads together, but it's a breakup. And we see Anna Jay and Ty constantly trying to reason with them. Hopefully, them two can be the voice of reasons within the Dark Order to not let the Dark Order break up. Also, too, was the most entertaining, segment of the day. CM Punk came out there. CM Punk trying to win his return match after 7 years after defeating Darby Allin. CM Punk came out there and dressed the crowd. And CM Punk was talking about the names of who he wanted to face. But Taz, who was on the commentary booth, made crystal clear, CM Punk, don't be calling my team out. CM Punk didn't like that one bit. CM Punk felt like Taz was trying to invade his space. Well, Taz just was calling the obvious, like with CM Punk. So CM Punk trying to jockey himself in position to find who he wants to go over. So CM Punk wants to test his skills against Taz team. He said he'll take on Ricky Starks, he'll take on Powerhouse Hobbs, he'll take on Hook, he'll take on Taz. And then CM Punk made another gesture to Taz saying, "Survive if I let you." So you know that's the next feud for CM Punk going against Team Taz. Because he joined forces with Cage. Only time will tell on that. Only time will tell. Also, too, speaking of Team Taz, we can tell you that Powerhouse Hobbs was in action. Powerhouse Hobbs was in action against Dante Martin. We got there you go. He was in action against Powerhouse Hobbs. Powerhouse Hobbs taking on the high-flying, sensational Dante Martin, who's been electrifying the crowd as of late. Dante Martin got hoisted up into the announcer said a power bomb, but it was a spine buster. As you can clearly see right here, a spine buster on the prime, and Powerhouse Hobbs wins. Now he probably focuses his attention on CM Punk or Cage. He had a match against Cage. I don't know if CM Punk and Cage gonna team together, but you know it's likely going to happen. CM Punk and Cage going to team together. Because CM Punk started on this with Team Taz. Team Taz didn't like that one bit. Also, too, we see John Moxley took on the New Japan sensation Hiroshi. I don't want to butcher his name. Metro Suzuki 1-on-1. What a phenomenal match. John Moxley winning, fighting in his hometown. He likes fighting to his hometown crowd. John Moxley taking it to Hiroshi Sanuki in this no holds barred type of matchup with Sanuki, trying to set up Moxley for that crooked power driver. Even did the power driver right here to drop the super kick as well. And then too, he stood back up. And Moxley won, but you can tell the admiration from Moxley He loves fighting the Japanese, and he gives respect to the Japanese. And one thing about Jon Moxley, with that, Jon Moxley giving respect. So we honor that and stuff. So, oh, let's see. Is that all the AEW? Yep, that's it. All right. That is the AEW Ring Report. So let's get to hot topics. On hot topics this week. Well, we got the Ring Report. Hot topics. On hot topics this week. Well, we know that Mick Foley is no stranger to controversy. With the coming off the ladder, coming off the saying where he like to speak and say, speaks his mind. Well, Mick Foley this week made more news this week that many people are still talking. Let's hear what the Hardcore Legend had to say.
And Mick Foley, I'd like to title this video, WWE, We've Got a Problem, because I think you do. And that problem is that WWE is no longer the place for talent to aspire to. Part of it is because AEW is doing a great job of attracting great talent, proven talent, building other talent, creating storylines, but part of it is a problem of your own making. I think younger talent sees the way that developmental characters are cut or left by the wayside, or in the case of Karrion Kross, greatly watered down and even made a joke of when they debut on the main roster. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If I was an aspiring talent now, big league talent with a major decision to make, I'm not sure that I would trust WWE Creative to do the right thing with my career. You guys did wonders with me back in the day, but that was a different time, different place. If it was today, I'm not sure I would trust the powers to be with my career in their hands. And until that changes, WWE, you've got a problem.
All right, you heard what Mick Foley had to say. Mick Foley, no stranger to controversy. Mick Foley saying that, hey, I just want people to know that AEW is the best and WWE is not trying to do as much. A lot of people are still angry and frustration that Mr. McMahon doesn't get it or doesn't see that what's going on with his own company. The AEW could come in and do like the WWE did way back when, the WCW, focusing on older talent than younger talent. So let that be a lesson to WWE if that happens. Or in case this could probably happen, the possibility that Kevin Owens, right now in WWE, his contract is up in January next year. So could Kevin Owens make that jump and join the Elite? Coming soon. We just don't know. He's been teasing it, him and the Young Bucks, by their Twitter bios. So there's a lot going on. Only time will tell on that. Also, too, we heard this past week, Triple H, the head of WWE Global and Strategy Development and former WWE wrestler, currently every now and then he's semi-retired, but Triple H had a health scare by his cardiac arrest, not cardiac arrest, but a cardiac situation. But you could call it a cardiac arrest. But Triple H reportedly, Triple H had to underwent surgery to correct the problem. So hopefully Triple H is resting well, and we'll get the latest on Triple H on what's going on. Maybe this NXT stuff going on. He just feel like his baby being taken away by Mr. McMahon and Bruce Pritchard. That's what it probably is, but only time will tell on that. So hopefully we pray and we wish the game a speedy recovery in his progress. Also to the Miz. Yep, you heard what I said. The Miz has joined Dancing with the Stars. Mike Mizanin now a contestant on Dancing with the Stars. The Miz was slated in a WWE feud against John Morrison. We don't know how long they're gonna be. The Miz probably ain't gonna last that long, but you know how that go. But the Miz now a contestant on Dance with the Stars going forward. All right, that is the Pro Wrestling Show presents the AEW Ring Report. So for me being Kendrick Dick saying so long, we'll see you this Friday for SmackDown and Rampage. We'll see you later.